Local and international whiskies presented under one roof by the world's leading experts. Some of the whiskies available for tasting include firm favorites. Of course, we'll talk to that about that a little later. Well, the Whisky Live Showroom is coming up, I beg your pardon, on the 14th and 15th of May for the first time in Pretoria. Well, we're joined in studio by Emily Stockden, who's here. Obviously, every time we talk whiskey, she's here about the festival. Good morning.
Morning. Thanks for having me.
You've decided to go to Pretoria. Why?
Well, whiskey sales in Pretoria are going off the charts.
Okay.
Yeah, Scotch whiskey brands from Distell like Bunnahabhain, Scottish Leader, Black Bottle are reporting a 13% increase in sales just in Pretoria year on year.
Yeah.
I mean, 13% is a significant number. So as partners to the whiskey industry, Whisky Live Festival tries to go wherever the whiskey growth is to support the industry in terms of sampling and growing the growth in that area. So that's the main reason we're going to Pretoria. The other reason why is just because Praetorians have been asking us to go for years and years. So we've listened and we're on our way.
Yeah. All right. So talk to us, paint a picture of us of the 3 showrooms that will be in Pretoria on the 14th and 15th.
We've just done a showroom in Durban that was hugely successful. Our attendance was 70% up year on year, again showing the huge interest in whiskey in South Africa. Our next stop is Pretoria, and thereafter we're off to Cape Town on the 18th and 18th till the 20th of June. So the Pretoria show is 14th and 15th of May, like you said. It's in the heart of Pretoria in its newly rejuvenated CBD area at a venue called 012 Central, which is at 385 Helen Joseph Street. So fans are supposed to park at the State Theatre and then actually walk through half a block of the CBD by night. It'll be 100% secured, of course. And then experience tasting the versatility and the kind of dynamism of whiskey in the heart of the CBD. We feel that it's an edgy, interesting, quirky venue for a beverage that's kept itself so contemporary and has been innovative throughout the years, which is why it's so popular.
How do you try and make it different? And somehow you're doing something right because, you know, you keep extending and expanding. How do you make sure that you keep your old fans coming and attracting a new market?
Well, it's really what we've got on offer. So we're simply a platform for the industry to display what it's already doing. I mean, whiskey's, like I said, hugely innovative. So you've got Scottish Leader launching its new brand called Signature. Its new expression, called Signature. And we've got all sorts of interesting new brands that haven't been at the shows for a while that will appeal to the guys that come year in and year out. So we've got a stand called Peated Malts of Distinction, and that's displaying Bowmore and Lafroig, which are not whiskies that people are commonly sort of aware of. We've got Wildabout whiskey with Tomatin, Smokehead, Kubokken. These are not commonly known brands. But then we also have the brands that people feel comfortable and sort of confident to taste because they're aware of them, that they're household names like Chivas Regal, Glenfiddich, House of Walker. So I think it's the mix of sort of well-known firm favorites and new interesting brands that people haven't heard of or sampled before that appreciate that new to whiskey people can appreciate and connoisseurs can appreciate. And I think that's the strength of our show, is that we keep delivering and adding to the collection of whiskies that we have on offer.
What for you has been the best part of being part of this project? I mean, you've been doing this now for a while now and you've seen its growth as well. What has been the highlight of seeing it bloom?
As the industry expands, so we get more and more interesting brands available for sampling and available for purchase in this country. So for me, that's hugely exciting. I mean, it would be difficult for me to come back and discuss the same brands year in and year out and the same old thing. You know, it's never like that. There's never a dull moment. So for every event, we have new and interesting exhibitors. We're also seeing a lot of interest from lifestyle brands now that are understanding that if they align themselves with the aspirational nature of whiskey, it's something that works in terms of premiumizing their own brands. So we've got beautiful perfumes this year. We've got lovely cigars from the Cigar Club. Everything that could have sort of goes with the aspirational whiskey lifestyle. And I think for me, that's the most exciting thing. And then, of course, always the people. The whiskey industry is full of amazing characters, real storytellers that really appreciate the craft of whiskey and can really convey their love of what it is that they do to people. And that's the other main thing that I love.
And how much do you rely on the numbers that come out of the sales as well? Does that determine where you go, as is the case in Pretoria?
Yes and no. Look, we look at where whiskey is doing well and we try and support the growth in those areas for sure. It's also a case of going into new areas and helping the industry see where there may be potential to grow in an area where sales are not potentially doing so well. In terms of sales at our event itself, it's not a core focus for us.
Right.
The core focus is more allowing people to sample it, interact with the whiskey experts and learn about whiskey, because once they understand how to get the most out of every dram, that's when they start experimenting and sampling. So it's really a category building initiative where all the brands get together under one roof to build whiskey as a category, which for me is so exciting. I mean, you don't see that with a lot of beverages, and, and it's such a highly competitive market between the brands, yet the category bands together to build whiskey. Yeah. It's fantastic.
All right. So give us the times again. You're in Pretoria on the 14th and 15th?
That's correct.
How do people get hold of tickets?
They go to whiskylivefestival.co.za or ticketpros.co.za. Tickets are 170 Rand. They include a tasting glass, 500 ml Valpre water and 15 tasting vouchers. We also recommend people use Uber. Obviously, we don't want anybody drinking and driving. Yeah. And we do have a promotional thing running with Uber where people can put a code that's WLF 2015, and if they're a first-time user of Uber, they get 200 Rand off, which is a significant contribution to getting home safely. Yeah.
All right, Emily, thank you so much for talking to us. Always such a pleasure having you on the program. Emily Stockden talking to us about the Pretoria leg of the Whisky Live Showroom taking place the 14th and the 15th in Pretoria for the first time. So Pretoria people have something to look forward to. Well, let's take a break. Stay with us.